No, it's just the front page of
Anything?
So this will be the front page of today's.
Thank you.
I've got a 8:30. Let's call this meeting to order. The first item is the adoption of the agenda.
Move to approve as printed. Second.
A motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda passes. Next is the minutes from the September 17th meetings. Any additions or alterations?
Move to approve the minutes. Second.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Business from audience. Dewey, how are you today?
Good morning, how are you all?
I'm fine. Got somebody with you?
No issues for me this morning. Appreciate it.
JD, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. No issue.
Thanks for joining us every other Thursday for the most part. You're always welcome. Let's just jump right into reports then. HR, Megan.
Morning.
Morning. Morning, Meg.
I have a couple of action items for you this morning. The first is a recommendation to extend the leave of absence for Mike Wellborn until January 4th if needed, with continuation of health insurance premiums. If you guys have got any questions about the confidential information that was provided in support of this, we could do that in executive session later.
I think historically we've always taken care of our people, and
Try.
I think he's doing well and he's recovering. So I'd make a motion to continue Mike Wellborn's leave of absence until January 4th, 2022, if needed, with continuation of health insurance premiums.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to continue Mike Wellborn's leave of absence until January 4th, 2022, if needed, with continuation of health insurance premiums. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. The second action item there is a recommendation to extend the COVID-19 emergency paid sick leave policy. We discussed this a little bit at the last meeting, so I won't rehash all of that, but again, it is limited, use of this leave is limited to specified COVID-19 related issues, requires third-party documentation. Extending it does not provide additional time to anybody. It simply leaves time that is as yet unused available in case the need arises. And there's a note in there that I believed we would, if we were to consider not continuing the availability of the leave for unvaccinated employees, that I believe we'd have to be prepared to make accommodations for religious and medical reasons. I was able to confirm that that is accurate. If we extended it only for the vaccinated, then basically anytime a situation arises for an unvaccinated individual, we would then need to, determine if the reason for being unvaccinated was medical or religious reasons, and then engage in that interactive process with them to accommodate that, and most likely in those situations, extend the availability of any unused leave they have from today. So I'm not saying that would be impossible, but it would definitely be a burdensome administrative process for us to engage in, and quantities would impact how burdensome that was, obviously. The other reason that I recommend we just extend it as is, regardless of vaccination status, is I think there are a lot of questions to answer if we try to go any other path. Does it depend upon your vaccination status as of October 1, when we extended the policy, or can they regain leave by getting vaccinated later. A lot of questions like that, and also a big issue to me in looking at the fairness of it. On the one hand, the board and management, we've all said we do not want to mandate vaccines. If we were to extend this policy only for the vaccinated, it would seem like, on the other hand, we were just saying, but if you don't, we're gonna impact your livelihood when these situations arise. And it just seems to be sending a conflicting message, in my opinion. So
So where did that conversation come from?
what
I
conversations had,
never
I'm sorry?
heard that we were gonna treat vaccinated and unvaccinated people differently.
No, we didn't say we were. The question came up at the last board meeting, should we consider differentiating if we extend this policy? I apologize if I misspoke. So I was just trying to address why I don't feel we should consider that. I think we
I
should
think that was off my question. I asked a question that probably should have just kept in my head. No, and after we sat down and we hashed it out, I mean, we have a set amount of time for the people to use for COVID-related issues. We extended it to everybody. To me, it's just simpler to ride that out. If they need the weeks or they need the days are there. If they haven't used them all, if they used them all, they're just out of time. We're not gonna give them any more days or less days. My personal opinion is we just let it go as it's written and extend the usage till December 31st. There's nothing saying that this December 31st, it's gonna be gone anyway.
Right.
If they haven't used it by December 31st, I don't know if there's any way we can really, I think this has just gotta be however it plays out, it plays out. We're not giving any more time, we're not gonna take time away from them. If they use it, they use it. If they don't, they don't. That's my personal opinion. You guys may have a different one.
You know what other utilities are doing?
That's what I was gonna ask. Do you have any idea what's going on?
It's a mixed bag. It's been a couple of months since APPA or anybody like that has surveyed strictly utilities. I can tell you the last survey that I saw, it was like 2 out of 20 that were mandating vaccines. I know that's not what we're discussing, but that's kind of what the survey
Yeah.
was about. And there was a lot of leave information gathered in that same informal survey. And there were quite a few who had done 4 weeks. They started with 2 and done another 2, just like we have. That seemed to be the most common number that I recall. There were a very small number who had only done 2 weeks, and people were on their own after that. But there were a few of those too.
I've got a question. And here it says, general purpose sick leave is one benefit we do not provide. Is that correct?
Yes,
So our employees do not have any general sick leave?
correct. We
So
have
you don't
vacation,
accumulate, you have 0.
correct.
So if you're sick and you go home, you don't get paid.
If you're sick and you go home, you gotta use your vacation time. Or we allow 5 days of personal time a year. If you're off long enough, we have disability insurance to help with any income loss, but there is no sick leave.
Okay.
Well, that could be, personal days or personal days. So you can kind of call them what you want to. We do 5 days a year. It's not your vacation on top of vacation.
I distinguish, just because every survey I look at, they distinguish everybody. If they don't just have a general PTO, a paid time off bank, one type of leave for everything, they break it down, vacation, personal, and sick. So kind of semantics, but
Even though we really don't have to mandate, right?
not at this
We don't-
time.
We don't fall into that category.
Right, and what was proposed a couple weeks ago that OSHA's working on, we're under 100 employees. Not technically regulated by OSHA.
But we could if we wanted to.
We could,
Yeah.
with the same caveat that we need to be prepared to administer requests for accommodation based on religious and medical reasons.
anybody know what the city's doing? Do you have any idea about COVID relief or anything? I know that's a complicated issue, but
Yeah, we
Meg, do you know anything?
I'm not sure what they're doing right now.
Okay,
I know last summer they called and got a copy of our policy,
okay.
but I'm
The
not sure what they're
city
doing now.
actually has sick days and vacation days and all of the above that they can hang on to each year for a certain amount of time. So they do have sick pay for just regular illness.
Yeah.
There is some sick days that they're allowed each year and personal days to take. As for the COVID, we've just kind of been sticking with the federal guidelines as they tell us what to do. Basically, you guys are kind of protecting yourself within here, extending it like this. We just have basically been following the CDC guidelines, like everybody's basically just recommended for us.
We need a motion. on
Yeah, I make a motion to extend the COVID-19 emergency paid sick leave through policy through December 31st, 2021.
Second.
Motion and a second to extend the COVID-19 emergency paid sick leave policy through December 31st, 2021. All in favor?
Aye.
You opposed?
Thank you. Just a couple other updates on our health insurance. Folks are finishing up the online applications for medical quotes today, so we'll get that sent on down the pipe and see what we get back. Just yesterday received some proposals for ancillary benefits, so I'll be looking at those in the coming days. We are having an on-site flu shot clinic for employees on the 12th. We'll also be able to get COVID vaccination if they want at that time. And other than that, a couple compliance updates in your packet, but I'll leave it at that and answer any questions if you got them.
I would like for the department heads to have a little sit down with your guys. Our reportable injuries are up by 4. Went from 1 last year to 5 this year. And we're not done with the year yet. So let's reiterate the impact that has on our insurance costs and everything else. I know it's time. And I know on my company, every 6 months, I got to sit them down and have the same talk with them. So let's reiterate that. Let's try to make that I don't know how to say it. It's important to relay that information. That does have a direct impact on how we get to conduct business, raises, what we have, what we can get. Directly reflects every bit of that.
Thanks, Steve.
Megan, is that in any kind of a schedule that we had that should be done no matter what? Every 6 months?
What's that, safety talk?
This meeting that Steve is talking about.
We're kind of, I appreciate Steve emphasizing it, so I didn't want to detract from that, but we folks do that regularly anyhow. We have monthly safety meetings. These guys do weekly. Weekly they get together and talk safety and go over a topic, and we try to keep folks apprised of where we're at on these. And it was a big topic. I don't know, Jeff, maybe 2 staff meetings ago, maybe 3. We had a long conversation about it. So yes, we do that on a recurring basis, but we always appreciate emphasis on it from the board too.
Any additional questions for Megan? Thank you, Megan. Let's move on to electric distribution. Doug.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I do have one action item for you. It's for contract tree trimming and brush spraying. Port Tree Services on site trimming. They've been operating with a skeleton crew. We had $200,000 in last year's budget. We went through about half of it. This year's over. I'd like to keep that crew on site and continue trimming trees. I don't know with the help situation. They've tried to hire help. They've had them temporarily. They'll quit. Just a real struggle to try to find help that'll stay with them. So with that, I'd like to recommend a motion to approve contract tree trimming for fiscal year 2022.
Yeah, this comes up every year, and it's a good deal. It saves us a lot of downtime, a lot of headache. you know, all just moving forward, I think we always need to do this.
It does. They do a good job for us.
Yeah, they do. They seem like, you know, even skeleton crew, they did a lot of work.
Yeah, they're
Trimmed a
moving.
lot of trees and trimmed a lot of trees. And
I make a motion to approve contract tree trimming for fiscal year 2022.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve contract tree trimming for fiscal year 2022. All in favor? Opposed?
Thank you, gentlemen. I don't have anything else to add unless you have any questions for me.
got your oil samples back yet?
Not yet. Not yet. We just finished up. We had one that, we were having a little issues with trying to get pressure on it. It was with the cooler weather, staying in vacuum. So it wasn't one we had trouble with before, so we just skipped it. We'll send it when we get it. We sent the rest of them in, so.
We're pretty much done with PCBs, aren't
Yeah.
we? Most of those, we don't have anything with those anymore.
Very low. I think the threshold was 50. Below 50 is considered not PCB. And we have very few.
I think, yeah, we're below 10, probably.
Probably. We
Yeah,
have very
we're
few.
good. We're good.
Yeah, we're,
Questions for Doug? Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Doug.
Move on to the finances, Tony.
Morning.
Morning.
I do have a couple action items here. The first one is I received our engagement letter for our annual audit from Gurney and Corte and Chipwood. It's pretty much a standard thing. The fee did go up $500 from $19,500 to $20,000 this year, which seems reasonable. So we just need the board president to sign that. It's really not an issue this year, but going forward with the grants that we're going to receive, we could have an additional fee for auditing the grant. So it won't apply to this audit, but just kind of a heads up, it's probably going to start hitting us in the next couple of years. So, and that's anything we receive over $750,000. They do an additional audit to make sure we're allocating that right, doing all that correctly. So just need a motion to have the board president sign the engagement letter.
Make a motion to authorize board president to sign the letter of understanding for the September 30th, 2021 audit with Gary Court.
Second.
Been a motion and a second to authorize the board president to sign a letter of understanding for the September 30th, 2021 audit with Girding, Forte, and Chipwood. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you, guys. They will be here tomorrow to count our inventory, so I appreciate that. The second one is, I know we've been talking about this for some time now, but it's kind of the time to start. You'll see we have a memorandum there for interdepartmental loan from electric to wastewater. As of yesterday, our wastewater department has $286,000 in their operating account and $148,000 in their reserves. So to date, we've spent $380,000 down there at the wastewater plant on this project. You'll see in disbursements, we have another bill for $194,000. So the plan is right now we'll do a transfer of $575 over to cover that cost. And I will update you guys. Anytime I do a transfer, I'll obviously put it in the board packet and let you guys know. And this goes back to when we cashed out the natural gas investment. So the goal is to use that $2.5 million to kind of get that going. So if you guys have any questions,
So that